Borvo, whose name means the boiling one, was a familiar deity of thermal healing springs in Gaul. His divine consorts, the Gaulish goddesses, Bormana and Damona, enhanced his curative powers during the Gallo-Roman era. The Allobroges, Lingones and Treveri were among the Gallic tribes to honor Borvo as Bormo, Bormanus, Bormanicus, Bormanos, and Borbanius. A depiction of Borvo at Vichy in central France portrayed him as a naked warrior god sitting on a ram-horned serpent. Some scholars believe Borvo held a cup in his hand while seated on a rock. The Romans equated the Celtic deity Borvo to Apollo, their god of healing and the sun, during the Gallo-Roman era. Historians believe the Gauls worshipped Apollo as a Celtic deity rather than a Roman god. The Gallo-Roman god, Apollo Borvo, was the otherworldly husband of Damona on an inscription at Bourbon-les-Bains in the 2nd century AD. Pilgrims sought the blessing of Borvo and Damona at large temple complexes in Bourbon-les-Bains in northeastern France, and Bourbon-Lancy in the east. Borvo embodied the Celtic belief that the deities blessed thermal springs with miraculous healing powers. The sacred waters cured a variety of ailments such as respiratory problems, gastric issues, rheumatic diseases, poor circulation and skin conditions. The Romans built the spa town of Bourbon-les-Bains on the site of an earlier settlement of the Lingones in the 1st century BC. Pilgrims invoked Borvo's healing power by immersing themselves in the warm waters of the temple's baths. They made votive offerings to Borvo when he answered their prayers. The numerous dedications to Borvo and Damona suggest they were the patron healing deities of the thermal mineral springs. Borvo only appeared on 2 inscriptions and Damona on 1 inscription at the sanctuary. Roman officials and Gallic nobles were among the wealthy visitors to offer votive altars and inscriptions to Borvo at Bourbon-les-Bains between the 1st and 2nd centuries AD. Caius Romanus honored Borvo and Damona on an inscription in gratitude for curing his daughter, Cosilla. Maturia Rustica fulfilled her vow when Borvo and Damona restored her health. Less well-off pilgrims cast jewelry, beads, nuts, and fruit into the sacred spring. Cakes and wine were also common offerings at Gallic healing shrines. Borvo's sanctuary at Bourbon-les-Bains attracted large numbers of Roman soldiers who were injured during campaigns in Gaul. They deposited over 4,000 Augustan coins into the spring during the 1st century BC AD. The find is the largest of its kind in Europe. The Romans built the rural sanctuary of Aquae Bormones, now known as Bourbon-Lancy, in the territory of the Aedui. The temple was lavishly decorated with mosaics and marble statues. The renowned therapeutic properties of the thermal mineral springs attracted Gallic and Roman dignitaries between the 1st and 2nd centuries AD. Inscriptions reveal devotees paid homage to Borvo in the form of Bormo, and his divine wife Damona. A Gallic noble called Gaius Julius Magnus dedicated an altar and inscription to Bormo and Damona, on behalf of his son, Lucius Julius Collinus. Dedications to Borvo were also found at Aix-les-Bains, Aix-en-Provence, and in Train-sur-Nohain. Inscriptions honored Borvo at a Roman thermal complex at Aix-les-Bains in southeastern France between the 1st and 2nd centuries AD. The Romans built the spa town of Aquae-Gratonnae, or Aix-les-Bains, in the territory of the Allobroges. An inscription described Borvo as Borbanus at the Roman baths of Thermae Sextius in Aix-en-Provence in southern France. The Roman proconsul, Gaius Sextius Calvinus founded the town of Aix-en-Provence, in the 2nd century AD. The settlement was named after the thermal mineral springs of the Salas, also known as the Salivae. An inscription on a bronze tablet at Train-sur-Nohain in central France paid homage to Borvo and Candidus. Candidus was a minor Roman deity in the service of Apollo. The Gallo-Roman town of Intaranum, or Intrain, was built in the territory of the Aedui. The people living in the town visited a healing sanctuary on the banks of the river Nohon. The temple was dedicated to the Roman god, Apollo. The Gaulish goddess, Bormana, was the focus of a healing cult at Saint-Vulbas in eastern France and Aix-en-Diois in the south. An inscription at Saint-Vulbas honored Bormana as the female equivalent of Borvo at a cold water spring. A Gallo-Roman shrine near the spring was the focus of a healing cult between the 1st and 4th centuries AD. The shrine was decorated with statues of Asclepius, the Roman god of medicine, Minerva, the Roman goddess of war, and the otherworldly huntress Diana. The figure of a genios cucullatus, or hooded spirit, implied the mystical being helped the goddess Bormana at the shrine. Bormana was the divine wife of Bormanus on an altar and inscription at a Roman bathhouse in Aix-en-Diois in southeastern France. The owners of a villa diverted the water from a hot mineral spring known as fontanelle to the bathhouse. Pilgrims visited the private sanctuary at the bathhouse so they may be cured by the divine couple, Bormanus and Bormana. The word Bourbon is derived from the Gaulish god, Borvo, and is often associated with places where his worship flourished. Borvo was a local healing god at a temple in the spa town of Acquis-Borvonis, or Bourbon-la-Chambeau in central France. Devotees paid homage to Borvo at a thermal spring in La Bourboule in the Dordogne region of southeastern France. The Romans founded the spa town of La Bourboule in the territory of the Arverni in the 2nd century AD. Borvo was the patron healing god of the hot mineral springs at Barbotan-les-Thermes in southwestern France. The dedications to Borvo confirmed he was a common god of thermal healing springs in Gaul between the Iron Age and Gallo-Roman era. The Gauls believed that the healing energy the Celtic god, Borvo, infused into the hot springs, was vital for their physical and spiritual well-being. The therapeutic properties of Borvo's ancient hot springs continue to attract crowds of visitors seeking holistic cures. The mystical aura of Borvo's healing waters still inspire a deep respect for the spiritualism of nature. The deities of the Celtic religion are discussed in our WordPress blog, Legends of Love in Celtic Mythology. The ancient beliefs of the woodland deities in Britain, Ireland, and Europe are explored in the book, Green Man, The Gods of Sacred Trees, on Amazon.